Hi, welcome to this video looking at Mercenaries tips. So, what have we got for tips? Well, one thing I would mention first of all is if we look here, you can see that depending on your the tasks you're doing, you're going to get like different levels of reward. Like this task 13 task got a lot more rewards than say an earlier. Even like a task 10, you can see this has not got. It's got 100. It basically goes up as you get certain tasks, and then task 2s obviously will get you this sort of thing. Let's go to the and you can see what I've got at the moment, and I've basically got a bunch of different mercenary comps, right? So let's just go through. I've spent a little amount of time sort of curating them with all the mercs I've got. These are all the mercs that I've currently got. So I've got quite a few. I'm not missing too much, I would say. Maybe like 10 or so. But it is useful to organize them, obviously, into their comps or their parties or whatever. So let's just briefly go through some of these ones. So you can see we've got Mukla, Crush, Trigor, Anaconda, Tavish, and Blink Fox. For this, you can see where you can actually get a... that one's going to be interesting as well to do that. In general, what you want to do with this is Primal Power, give a friendly beast, +8 attack. Then when this attacks with Apex Predator or Terrify, it's going to be pretty good, right? And I put Flaming Claws on to get some boosts. This is Backlash. So this is one where when your stuff gets attacked, you go attack back. We've got Regrow Heads, takes critical damage. It will restore health. There's a couple of effects like that. Anaconda also works pretty well here. Mend Beast, if we look at what the task 7 is here, it's going to restore health to Anaconda as well. So you can get up to 22 health with that. Tavish, I've got Explosive Trap 5 here, and I combo it with the rigged wiring. So the traps last until they're triggered. So what people tend to do is they don't want to attack it because they know it's going to trigger that. So what ends up, you can end up stacking the explosive traps, so you can just get like them all go off at once, which is pretty awesome. I've got here 10th Tell, so this Mind Thief 5. It's always a copy of the last ability and last enemy ability. It's 5 speed faster, so that's pretty good. So it's like a really good counter that. Anyway, let's just sort of quickly go through these. Orc, I've got. So these are all the different orcs. Rakara is probably the easiest one to get because you'll often be doing the heroic early one, which has got this as a reward. Offensive Rally is pretty useful if you've got loads of stuff attacking. You can do Offensive Rally into a Samuro, which is going to do pretty much all of the, well, at least Double Strike and Mirror Image. I really like the Mirror Image Sash of Illusion. So you get 2 copies of this merc here. Whirling Blade, if you're low on health, you want to get that immunity as long as you can trigger it. You will not die that turn. Grommash, I really like this power, the Battle Fury. And I've boosted it here with the Bloodthirst Amulet. Garish, only just got this recently. Haven't even got this yet. Give your orcs 4 attack this turn. Again, similar to Rakara's Offensive Rally there. Gul'dan kind of fits more into other comps, but it does have Siphon Life, which will restore health to friendly orcs and demons. And this has also got some sort of, if you just take a look at this, yeah, Orcish Banner. If I get this as well, so this is the way in an orc sort of deck, which is normally quite aggressive and attacking, to restore health, you probably want to use that, and along with Gul'dan's Siphon Life there. And it's also actually Southfang as well, could be used, Mobilizing Strike. So probably use the task 7 on this once we get to that stage. Shadow, very good against the red enemies. So a lot of good shadow abilities. In general, what you want to do is you want to sort of launch it off with Void Consumer. You can see I've got Void Stone, which is boosting the Void Consumer. And what this can do is you can use Veil of Shadows to boost the damage. That's going to be 16 damage, for example, on the Shadow Bolt 5. Enemies can't heal, which is pretty useful. But from Void Consumer, you can go into a bunch of different options, right? after you cast a shadow ability. So what shadow abilities might you want to cast at that point? Well, you might want to cast Lich King's Death Coil, which is going to do a bunch of damage, and it's going to boost that taunt minion there. You also might want to do a Shadow Surge, which is going to do area effect damage against your enemies through Vol'jin. So the Shadow Surge is that. So that's just pretty good in general. The Ring of Haste there. Probably I'll probably immediately go into this though, Glaive of Vol'jin. Once we get to that stage, again we've got some good damage and good health restoration to single targets. Currently got more health restore from Benediction and Lightbeam. It's kind of an interesting thing. You start off with Anathema, and then you go into doesn't really show you, but pretty good depending on what you need to do. You can obviously just not change it and just use Lightbeam or 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 just use Shadow. It depends how you want to do it, right? Obviously you'd use like Anathema and Shadow Beam or whatever. Again, good area effect. Just really good. And Tavish is always just works well on everything really. And yep. Next up we have Arcane. So Arcane is actually nature more, but Arcane is like a card that fits in every way. We've also got this reincarnation effect, which is pretty cool. That once it dies, it can actually come back to life. This is just like sort of just in general, like you want to keep the casters protected. That's why you use protectors. This effect, the taunt effect, also 1 speed. This is pretty much fast in pretty much anything, apart from maybe with Blink Fox. So you can see Arcane Fling. You could combo Arcane Explosion into Arcane Fling if you wanted to do that sort of thing. Refreshing the abilities as well. And what else do we have? This is the main sort of Arcane thing. Gain Arcane damage. I can do more damage with this. You can see that with Tyrande, you can also use it on nature abilities. So yeah. This is also a good way, I guess, to trigger like you would say you wanted to trigger this. If you made the Arcane Bolt faster, you could always get the combo with the Arcane Fling. Okay. Demon. So this, as you might imagine, I haven't got like some of the really good ones like Diablo or whatever, but I've got Kirchhoff always does crits to demons. It's pretty cool, even if it's not the right. It's not if it's like even if it's like a blue or a red or whatever. Drax is probably the best, and you can see demons is generally focuses on fell damage. So say you do a Fist of Draxis or maybe a Legion Burst, and then maybe do a Fell Lash, and then maybe an Eye Beam, and then you could sort of top it all off with a Rain of Destruction. So that'd be one way to do that. You can also put Fell Command in there as well beforehand. Obviously, you can't do them all at the same time. Just sort of like yeah, it doesn't really fit in here actually. It's the closest thing I've got though to. There are synergies between these two with the shadow, but do we have any other? Yeah, I am going to try and I probably will remove these and try and get some more, some slightly different stuff. This is interesting. It's like Greater Arcane Missiles on Jiraxis. All right. Next up, Nature. So similar to how you saw with the Arcane combo with Millhouse and Blink Fox, do a similar sort of thing here. Now Furion, Cenarian Surge into Living Brambles. I've really boosted my Brambles here, you can see. Cairn as well, got the nature ability there. Brucan is what you use to boost the nature damage. Anaconda does have nature. There are nature abilities, but it's probably best served in a beast deck. I showed you before. Brightwing has got good boost to health, which of course is also used with the Life Root Staff here. It's going to restore health to your characters every nature ability cast. Yeah. What's next? Frostfire. So there's only 3 Frost mercs in the game. We've got Vard and Lich King and Jaina. Don't have Jaina yet. You can see these are all Frost. I boosted up the Flurry. This is pretty good. This effect, freeze until the end of next turn. Really, really powerful, that. And you can see it's actually going to be less of a cooldown here as well. Next upgrade. Obviously, I love this, and Frostbite is also good. Permanently slower. Got the Fire of Explosive Trap. Similar, we've got Fire Breath here from Voon. Also a token here. Area Effect. Fireball 2. We've got Fireball Storm. Going to cast multiple fire. Again, it's an area effect. Very powerful, that one. This as well. This is an amazing fire effect. Obviously, you can imagine this with much more damage. And even that is pretty amazing as well. Yep, but this is kind of like we're just building towards separate decks for each of the Frost and the Fire. They're not going to be together eventually, you'd think. Same sort of thing, Murlocs, right? Murlocs and Pirates are not going to be together, but they are at the moment. Because there's certain things that, like, for instance, if you look at... it wasn't Morgul, actually, it was Murkrai, sorry. Or was it... Which one was it, actually? Maybe it was Mutanus. There we go. Finally, the last one. Could restore health to friendly Murlocs and Pirates. So you can see there's a synergy. These are all nature spells, so you could also incorporate them into a nature deck as well. Death Blow is really good on Fish Feast. So yeah, I made it better by doing that. Fishy Barrage, pretty powerful. It's pretty good for getting your health back. And I'm only really just starting with the Pirates. Quite like this sort of effect. When another character gets attacked, it attacks. It's an interesting thing. It's a bit like don't know, it's almost like Battlegrounds, isn't it? But yeah, lots of really good combos with this. This is the real power you can do with this sort of thing. This is an interesting effect. Good to do it on a token. This is the token I like at the moment. You can see Giant Fin there. That is probably the one it will end up eating there. Alright, this does a huge amount of damage, obviously, if you've got a lot of minions out. What next? And finally we have Human. So yeah, similar sort of cards. We've got Carrier, Varian. Again, this has that sort of like backlash, whatever that other one was called, when it attacks. Well, actually, this is for this particular minion. So sometimes if it attacks other minions or attacks itself, it will do that. And these are just humans. There's a bunch of like other holy things as well. Like I wasn't able to like this sort of thing goes. This is like the millhouse, I guess, of holy abilities. So we're trying to incorporate that. So there's my decks. And generally, if you want a card, like for instance, if I wanted to get Jaina, I would just say, look, I need to do Gar, and there's Jaina. So that's like, I think Jaina's going to be very important to get purely because of the Frost abilities, which you don't have. There's not much Frost ability apart from Jaina, so I'll be working towards that one. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching.